Today's Australian guest at Casa de Redneck. Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. I wasn't sure if that was you or not. Good to see you, man.
You too, mate.
Welcome.
Right.
Welcome.
How are you?
Hello, welcome.
That's wild.
Good moto morning. Welcome to Kraken's Garage. Today we have a very special guest hailing from New South Wales.
New South Wales.
All right. This would be Nick, formerly known as Nick Contrast. Just recently changed the name of his channel to The Slab.
The Slab.
No number after it?
The handle's got the Slab 24. But the channel name is
Gotcha.
The Slab.
The Slab. And we're going to talk about, do a quick interview with Nick and see what kind of makes him tick. Hopefully you'll enjoy the interview as we discuss with another chat with another motorcyclist from around the globe. We all fall under the same category of what we love, but we all go about it differently, and that's what this is all about. So, Nick, what brings you to Virginia of all places? That just blows me away. I can't wrap my mind around that, I should say.
Virginia, it's you, Lisa, your home, everything here, that brings me here for sure.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, normally when people come for a visit here, they want to go to Washington, D.C. or see some of the historical sites. And in your case, you just wanted to decompress and enjoy fellowship. Is
That's
that
right.
pretty much correct?
That's 100% it.
Gotcha. And we're very blessed that you took the time out of your life to come and do that. And you've been a wonderful guest and joy to have around under extremely Arctic conditions, to put it mildly. That's a story for another day, but it has been brutally cold here in Virginia, so we'll just leave it at that. Tell us about your journey and what you wanted to accomplish on this trip to America. This is your third trip to America?
It's my third trip.
Right.
On this trip, I've wanted to ride motorcycles in as many places I realistically could in the United States, hiring them so I could try and experience different motorcycles, and also to come visit you, Elisa, and your home. And that's pretty much been the focus. It's just to see a beautiful country and see parts of it that I haven't seen before, really avoid the cities and take in the countryside, and that's been immensely rewarding.
Well, you flew into L.A. and then you did some riding in California, correct?
I did.
Did you hire a bike or rent a bike, or one of your mates loaned you one or something?
No, I rented a bike through a company called RiderShare, which is a terrific, like it says, bike sharing rental place for individuals that works as an intermediary. And I hired a Indian Scout 60 bagger, which I saw the engine size, which I think was 1,000cc or 1,100cc, and thought that's going to be a big bike. Scout's a little bit of a small bike,
Right.
but that bike is extremely capable and a pleasure to ride. And I really enjoyed
Good,
that.
good. So that was your first time riding an Indian?
First time on an Indian.
I've never been on a newer Indian ever.
Yeah, they're good bikes. It hauls ass. So I don't know if I can swear.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. If people only knew how much I feel.
It moves. It's a snappy engine, well-designed bike. Very flickable, the Indian Scout, so that was perfect for a couple of the rides.
Did this one have the fat tires?
No. Well, it's got a big fat tire at the front as well as the back. Yeah, not overly so, but it is a fat tire. A smaller wheel than you'd expect, that one.
Right.
But yeah, it gives good feeling on the road. I was happy.
What parts of California did you get to visit?
Oh yeah, I started from, I don't remember the name of the town, but it was the north of, it's about an hour or 2 hours north of LA. And so I rode out from there, avoiding the freeways, into some real back road sort of stuff, and experiencing all the
Fabulous riding out there.
It was amazing. I saw so many different styles of area and topography, and incredible people and many different lifestyles all out there. It was really something, and tootled around all the way on the outside down to probably southeast of LA, where I came across Joshua Tree National Park, which was outrageously beautiful. It was so gorgeous. It was nuts. I thought, I don't know if this is going to be worth it, because I thought yeah, there's Joshua trees everywhere out there, and they're just going to be older, bigger ones, big deal. But it was beautiful, and I got there later than I expected, so it was starting to get the sunset and the mountains in the background, the trees, the whole area was mind-blowing. It's 100% worthwhile. It's gorgeous. I loved it. Very cold.
Yes.
Stop swearing. Very, very cold. But yeah.
It was freaking cold. So after Joshua, then you sewed up California and moved on to your next leg of your trip?
No, I rode back up and across the top of LA to a place called, I think it's pronounced Ojai, Ojai.
Okay.
Stopped there for the night. That was beautiful, and kept going up the mountain ranges above that, which was again astonishing. Just so much fun, those roads. It was a perfect bike for it. It was an amazing place. And then I looped around across the top back to the town and took a train back into LA, and that's when I blew out of LA.
Took a train back to LA?
Yeah, yeah.
So you returned the bike to the rider share
Exactly.
giver, for better choice of words. And then you caught a plane from LA to where?
Well, the plan initially was to fly to El Paso and take a Harley,
Softail?
no, Road King or something like that.
Okay.
One from like 15 years ago, and ride that up, and then to go to Houston and get a bike and ride. But I realized I was doing so many flights and dotting myself so much. And when I was on the Indian, I realized, I had the revelation, I'm not here to dot myself, I'm here to ride. That's what was making me so happy. It was how I felt when I was riding. So I blew those off. I flew directly over to Florida, and that was going to be another big ride as a result of that instead of a short one.
Texas can be cold this time of year as well.
No doubt, yeah. Yeah.
So that may have not have been a bad call climate-wise.
I've been extremely lucky in the choices I've made.
Till you got to here.
Yeah, right.
So tell us about Florida and your agenda there.
Florida had some beautiful things. Wow. I mean, the whole place is different style of riding. It is a place that rewards big baggers because it's flat, straight, long roads. It's all, the state is flat, which means there's no need for corners and everything's just long and go.
That's where I'd be dozing off. I mean, corners are where it's at.
Right, right. I like corners. I just put them in anyway, you know.
Right, right.
It's hard to find them. I found one road that had about 8 of them, and it felt like glory, you know. So I ended up hiring a Harley there, a Harley with a 1200. What was it called? Lowrider something or other.
Okay.
Yeah, the bike again. I thought that engine would mean the bike wouldn't be too small, and the bike was small. I had my knees up against my ears sort of thing while I was riding.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a small bike, but that gave me a lot of confidence when I'm dealing with how does this roundabout work when you're on the right-hand side of the road, and all of the complex sort of freeway interchanges and stuff. So it was a blessing in disguise having a smaller bike. I didn't have to add on to all of that cognitive load about keep this bike upright when I'm sort of maneuvering it around. And I rode from Orlando, which is where I hired it, and I rode out from there, and I just powered down the freeways or motorways, I don't know what you call them here, the toll roads, powered down into Miami. Had an amazing time in Miami, just wow. And then rode in, well, before really settling into Miami, I rode down into the Florida Keys, which is a lot longer than I realized.
It's hella long.
It's so long. I thought it's like a 2
I
hour
rode my
thing.
scooter down to mile marker 0,
Oh, yeah, right.
and it just went on and on and on.
It's wild. You're
Yeah.
like 1/5 of the way through, and it's like been an hour. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the width of the state. I didn't think
Yeah.
it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a revelation.
Very expensive down there
Very
to get a room or anything.
I've got a tip about that actually, because I've been filtering, whenever I've been looking for hotel rooms, I've been filtering down to about 150 Australian dollar dues. So I'm not sort of paying too much, and I've been filtering for people who end up rating it at 8 out of 10 or higher. And then you don't get very many choices, but you get great choices at a low price. And that's been extremely rewarding, and sort of makes you go places you wouldn't expect to go. And down near the start of the Florida Keys, you'll find a group of hotels there fantastic ones at a bargain price compared to everything else down in that area. It's definitely the way.
Wonderful. So you finished up riding the Keys, and then you came back, and then caught a plane to Virginia.
Not quite. I came out of the Keys back into Miami, and then I rode across and up through more back roads, again straight back roads, but back roads. Found some beautiful farms and things. Bought a couple of things here and there. Rode into St. Petersburg, just south of Tampa. Had a great time there. Amazing, so good. And then from there, it was riding across and back up to Orlando. And the plan was, that's where I parked the bike again, returned again after 5 days of riding instead of a shorter time. And from there, the plan was to come up here and then to go back down there, or to go somewhere in the middle of America and do some riding there. But with the weather being so cold, I think Florida being so low is the place to return to and get some more miles in, despite the straight roads.
So when you leave here, you're going to go back to Florida, try to snag some more riding down that way.
100%.
Okay. Good. Soak it up.
Yeah,
That's good. And so far, no mishaps. Been a good trip.
No mishaps at all. It's been everything's been fantastic. Probably the biggest mishap would just be that I felt discombobulated when I landed. I was horribly unplanned. I had been just throwing things in a bag before I flew out. I wasn't as organized as I wanted to be. I was just overloaded with things I needed to do before I got out here. And it took me a little while to sort of get my stride and feel like I was moving. But as soon as I was on the bike, I felt like, yeah, I'm where I need to be, and everything's absolutely fantastic. And it's just been wild since then. It's been just so
Good. So a successful trip
100%,
at this point?
100%.
Good. And what bike are you going to ride when you get back down to Florida? Are you going to rent something else? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. The two bikes on my mind was there's a Honda VTX 1800, but that's up in Jacksonville, I think it's called, which I think might be too cold. It started snowing there the day that I flew, or the next day that I flew out. So it's probably
Unheard of for Florida to get snow.
Oh, it's wild. When I flew out to here from Jacksonville, because flying out frequent flyer miles, you're limited on where you can fly from and to. I'd taken a train from Orlando, where I dropped the bike off, and took a train up to Jacksonville. And the Uber driver was telling me that he was trying to get a lot of miles in, a lot of trips in, because the next day it was going to snow, or at least rain wildly. But he was saying snow, so yeah. So maybe I shouldn't get that VTX. But I've always wanted to ride a Honda VTX 1800.
It's a great bike.
It's a great bike, and it's got
Shaft
so much
driven
good
too.
stuff. Shaft driven, endlessly reliable. It's got.
I'm not as dumb as I look, folks.
It's got the brakes where you pull the brakes and both brakes do instead of one. I want the 1300 because it's got a slightly low seat height, and I like flat footing a bike. But the 1800 is such a great bike. I wanted to find out whether I could live with it. So there's a whole bunch of other reasons too. So we'll see. There's also a V-Rod somewhere in Florida that I'd love to hire, because I've always wanted to have a V-Rod, and I'd like to really feel out if that's a good choice.
Okay. Good stuff. So overall, you're pleased with your decision and this trip.
Immensely.
To come out in January is tough duty in many areas of this country.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
But if you're also tailoring it to your work and when you can get time off to do these things, then there it is.
you got to take what you can get for sure,
Yes,
don't you?
yes.
Yeah, January's my month of not getting as much active work, and it was although I'm just desperate to try and figure out how I can get here later in the year, that's for sure. Just too in love with the place.
Well, let's spin forward. You get back home under your normal routine. Tell us about how and why you travel all over the entire country of Australia.
Yeah.
And you work on the road and on to the next town, and you get to see your entire country.
Yeah, I'm very lucky how I've formed things. It's I work in all of the cities around Australia, and you can ride between them quite realistically, although it's long distances. It's days, multiple days if you want to make a good trip of it. But I've got the ability to do that. I have to fly often, but I ride often, certainly more often than most are able to, and I connect up my work with those rides between cities, often working in towns and small well, large towns and small towns along the way when people need work out there that most people wouldn't take. So I can connect it up into little links and loops and create amazing journeys out of that. So it's a privilege. It's a hard-earned privilege, but it's a privilege.
And you certainly get to meet a lot of people.
I meet amazing people on the road. I mean, yeah, for real, right here for starters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. So your next leg that you're planning when you get back home, where is that taking you?
The next leg, I've got a bike that I refer to as Shazza, and that bike is the one that I rode across or up and across the top and down from Australia. Called Shazza because it's loud, it's obnoxious, and it breaks down. So yeah, it's true to its name. And I had that trained back to the Southern Highlands, where I've got a great mechanic there who does work, and he sort of sorted it out as much as you can with Shazza. And plan now is to ride that down to Melbourne, do work in Melbourne, ride that across to Adelaide, do work in Adelaide, and then ride that across the Nullarbor to Perth, where it's a beautiful ride.
These towns he's rattling off are massively far apart. You're talking 4 and 5 day trips to get to.
Oh yeah.
You know, we're talking about driving across the United States or across Canada, when he's describing where he's going.
Yeah. Yeah, Australia is nearly as big as the United States. If you sort of chopped off the corners and shrunk it a bit, you got Australia's size.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, she's a big one. So I want that bike to live in Perth for a couple of years in a storage unit on the cusp of a city there, because I do work in Perth.
You need to meet up with Alan.
Yeah, true, eh? True, eh? Yeah, there's a few people there. I've got a mate there, Justin. There's Digby and Jax. There's and I'd like to meet others for sure. There's some rides I want to do going inland.
And if you go up north into the outback in Broome, there's Outback Outlaw.
That's exactly where I want
Nathan
to go.
is an absolute gem to sit down and talk to.
I've heard. I want to meet Nathan.
You would enjoy his company immensely.
Yeah. Well, the plan is to go and do all the roads that I haven't done in WA and haven't had a chance to do because it's a long way to get the bike there. So there's a bunch of beautiful rides down from Perth, but what really tickles my soul is those inland outback sort of roads that go inland in Western Australia, and I've just got to fill in all those lines on those maps. So that's what Shazza will be doing for the next couple of years.
Are you going to make it up to the northeast, which is New South Wales? No, North Queensland?
Yeah, Northern Territory it'd be from WA, yeah. I've done most of the roads in Northern Territory already, so I would pretty much stick to the roads in Western Australia, and that's a lot of distance, but I want to get to the northeast of Western Australia as well. I came through there about 6 months ago, and there's stunning stuff there, and really great stuff, so have to revisit. A lot of dots to tick.
So tell me why you opted to drop Nick Contrast versus the Slab. What's your thought process on that?
Yeah, I love the name Nick Contrast because it's my name Nick and the word contrast, and I think that you can't have everything one way in life. You can't be single-minded. You need balance, and the only way you can have balance is to have contrast, because you can't have everything one way and have balance. So Nick Contrast was about balance in my life, elements of yourself and such. So I like the name, but the name's hard to remember. It's hard for people to type out. And the focus of that channel, which was the beauty of riding and the beauty of where I was and the roads getting there, I felt like I had got that to like 95% of where that could go. And I liked that, but I felt like I wanted to change. The change I wanted was to invigorate some more editing capacity in me, to show more of the personalities of the places and the people that I meet, and to make it more of a viable channel without sacrificing what it means to me and my own integrity. So the Slab is one of 4 ideas I had for changing the channel. Another one I had was Big Things, which I tried out, and I think I got good ideas with it, but I scuttled it because it just didn't feel right for me, and it wasn't the style I wanted. The slab allows me to do what the contrast did, the beauty of writing, the beauty of the places, for me to be in front of the camera a bit more, to put some storyline in, and to be more selective about how I'm sharing things, and then make other videos that are more gracious with the things that normally end up on the cutting room floor.
Gotcha. Well, this is getting long-winded. We're 20 minutes into it already.
No way, that's wild.
Yeah, so people aren't going to even make 10 minutes into this, but hopefully you enjoyed the interview and hearing a different person's perspective on how to get from point A to point B on two wheels and hearing about Nick's journey. I will have his information linked down below to the Slab, his new channel, and I hope you go by and check out his content. He does excellent work, and you will get to see parts of the world you would never have seen in your lifetime. So I hope you go by and check him out. Any parting words?
Thank you for having me, Eric. It's been freaking amazing being here, and I've loved every moment. It's really something. Thank you.
Any wise words you want to tell the world?
Oh, all you got is the moments. How about that?
That'll
This
work.
moment.
All you have is moments. Thank you for joining us today on this very special episode and very special guest visiting us here at Kraken's Garage. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit that subscribe button right down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go riding because it's good for you. And I'll see you in the next one. Balmy 18 degrees this morning. We're now at Dallas Airport and Nick's starting his journey home. Any last thoughts?
Mate, thank you for being so generous and having me. It's been fantastic with you both. I've loved this whole time.
Well, sorry it's been so damn cold, but safe journeys on your next leg of your trip.
Thank you, mate. It's been beautiful. Thank you.